Remember how we talked about Jesus and how he loved to teach in parables? And remember that parables are stories that teach us something about what we believe or our morals or our ethics. Well, today we're going to hear about another parable that Jesus told. One day when Jesus was teaching, many people came to listen to him. Among them were those who others thought were bad people. The religious people started complaining about it and saying, "That man only likes to hang out with bad people. He even sits down and eats with them." Jesus heard what they said and decided to tell them 3 stories. This is one of the parable stories that he told them, the parable of the loving father. There once was a man who had 2 sons. But they were very different. The crowd nodded. They knew plenty of stories that began like this: Cain and Abel, Isaac and Ishmael, Jacob and Esau. They also had families of their own and understood that brothers and sisters, parents and children don't always get along. Well, the eldest brother was responsible and hardworking, but the younger brother was lazy and spoiled. And the younger son said to his father, "Father, I don't want to wait until you die to get half of your things. I want you to give them to me now." So the father divided up all that he had in half and gave the younger son his share. After a few days, the younger son took his money and went to the country far away, where he lived it up, wildly wasting every last penny until it was all gone and his pockets were completely empty. No money, no food. As if this wasn't bad enough, the country where the younger brother went had a famine, a terrible time where no one had enough food to eat. Everyone was beginning to starve. So the younger son couldn't expect people to share with him. He would have to find a job. And he found one taking care of pigs on someone's farm. As he worked, he looked at the bean pods that the pigs ate and heard his stomach growl. If only the farmer would let him eat with the pigs. But nobody gave him food of any kind. Suddenly, he got an idea. Wait a second, he thought. All the workers who work for my dad back home have plenty to eat, and here I am about to starve. I'll go back to my dad and I'll say, "Father, I've done such bad things against God and against you. I'm not good enough to be called your son. Would you treat me like a worker and let me earn my food to eat?" Maybe that would work. He probably rehearsed his apology all the way back to his home. When he was still a little far away, his father saw him. His dad was so overwhelmed with love for his son that he ran to greet him and kissed him and hugged him. "Father," the son said, "Father, I have done such bad things against God and against you. I am not good enough to be called your son. Would you treat me like a worker and let me earn food to eat?" But the father was so happy that he didn't even answer. "Quick," he said to his servants, "go and get the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and shoes on his feet. Then get things ready for a big feast. We're going to have a huge party, the biggest we can muster, because this boy of mine was dead and now he is alive. He was lost, But now, here he is, found. As usual, the boy got far more than he deserved. New clothes, fancy jewelry, and a big party with all the neighbors. And so the party started. But the story isn't over. His older brother was out in the fields when he heard the music from the party and saw the people dancing. As he got closer to the house, he asked a worker what was going on. "Your brother's back," the worker said, "and your father is putting on the biggest party he can because he's home again, safe and sound." The older brother was so angry that he couldn't even go into the house. His father heard about it. Suddenly, he saw the truth. It had always been this way. He had always overlooked his dependable elder son, lost sight of him, forgotten to see him. So he rushed out to search high and low for his other son. "You don't get it," said the older brother. "All these years I've worked like a slave for you. I've never disobeyed you, not once. Have you ever given me one little get-together? One small party? No. But this son of yours runs off and wastes all the money you give him. And then he comes back and you throw a celebration like this?" "My dear, dear son," the father said, "oh, how much I love you. Don't you know that everything I have is yours? But we have to dance and be happy because your brother was dead and now he's alive. He was lost and now he is found. I long for our family to be whole again." The crowd that Jesus was telling the parable to was silent, thinking, wondering. Jesus told them people lose things. They forget to look, to pay attention. They lose sight of what matters. But God does not. God will go anywhere to find and save what was lost. And God will do anything to make things whole again. Everyone in the crowd knew that this was worth celebrating. I wonder what your favorite part of this story is. Jesus told this story to the religious people who didn't like seeing him sitting and talking and eating with people who they thought were bad. I wonder what this story was supposed to teach them. I wonder what the father thought and felt when he saw his son coming home. I wonder how the father is like God. I wonder how we're like the sons. Jesus doesn't finish the story. If you were telling it, what would happen next?